Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to Sarge Approved. It's me, Sarge, and I'm here with Frenzy.
What's crack-a-lackin'?
Hey. Our guest tonight is comedian Brad Scott. What's up, Brad?
What's up, Bradley?
How is it going? I am here live in Apartments Unknown.
Ooh. Where are you coming to us from? What city again?
Indianapolis.
Ooh, the Colts.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Were you sad when Peyton Manning left?
No. I actually wanted. I was worried that 2-14 wasn't going to be good enough to get a draft pick for Andrew Luck. I wanted to lose every single game. I love Peyton. I love what he did for the city. I love what he did for the team. But it was his time, man. 4 neck surgeries. We gave him $20-something million to just sit on a bench for a year. That's a pretty fair, exchange. And you have a chance to get the next generational quarterback. You take it.
Fine.
I had Andrew Luck as my fantasy quarterback. That's all I'm going to say about that, but I did.
Oh, this last year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was better, but I'm still sorry. Yeah, you can blame
thank you.
You can blame our cliche-spitting coach and our dickhead general manager that we finally fired.
Brad Scott, you are a comedian, stand-up comedian. You're a writer, I understand. I want to find out more about that. And you are a podcaster. You have 2 podcasts that you're a host of.
Yes, the Showdown Podcast with Vic Miller and another guy, and Corey Miller, by the way, who you guys actually had on, and Wrastlemania, which is a podcast I do with a guy named Brent Terhune, who's another comedian out of Indianapolis, a writer for the Bob and Tom Show. And we're both big pro wrestling fans. We're not smart. We've never been in the ring. We've never taken a bump. But we like to look at the comedic comedic aspects of wrestling and, the lighter side of it and try to make, fun of it. And it's a good show.
Nice. Well, we are both fans of the Showdown Podcast, so shout out to Vic and Corey.
Yeah, what's up,
What
guys?
up? And I haven't had a chance to listen to the new one, so I'm excited to check that bad boy out.
The Wolverine one, right? That's the newest one.
Yeah, it comes with the classic Corey Miller apology before the episode for audio quality because I don't know.
Yes, I did listen to that one.
Something I don't know happened, but it's a fun show. It's honestly, I wish that it got more attention than it did. And I listened to your guys' episode with Corey, and I noticed he specifically left out a few things about the Showdown.
I'm interested to hear about this.
One, I am obviously the star of the show. I mean, I've been carrying it every episode. And I noticed when he was talking about past episodes and bringing up, funny moments, he conveniently left out our first Halloween episode. This was back when I was a person who would argue one of the movies was better than the other. And Corey was who I would argue against. Vic was a judge at that time. The show was worse, but this episode was special because it was our Halloween-themed episode. And so Corey and I had to pick, scary movies. Corey went with Halloween. I went with Stephen King's It, the miniseries that was on ABC in the early 90s.
I agree with you.
Corey, who do you think won the Halloween-themed episode? Was it the guy with the namesake movie, Halloween, or the guy that had a movie about a giant spider at the end that looked awful and cheesy?
I'm going to guess the Halloween situation won.
No, Corey got...
They never let Corey win.
And forgot to mention the spider. I conveniently only argued 3/4 of the movie.
Wow.
I think the first time I saw that It movie, I was probably
way too young to be watching it?
No, I was like a junior in high school or something.
Oh, I think I was in elementary
school. So it wasn't that
school.
scary. I was like, this movie's stupid. Yeah. When I saw it for the first time, I was thinking I was way too old. Yeah. I just thought it was dumb.
You missed the boat. I think I watched it when it was actually on television.
Me too.
Playing on TV. And I was in probably 2nd or 3rd grade. And I went to Catholic school, so it was even worse for me. But I remember I was traumatized by watching it.
Oh, I loved it, but at the same time, it scared the hell out of me.
Yeah. But it matters. It depends on what age you were and you saw it, because I remember watching when I was probably about 5 years old. I remember getting up in the middle of the night and kind of sneaking down the hallway into the living room, hiding behind this like giant speaker we had in the living room while my parents watched one of those Halloween movies. And I don't know which one it was, but I remember I was hiding behind there and I was watching because they had like recliners, so their backs were to me, and I could see the TV. And there was a scene where there was this young girl, and she was in bed, and Michael Myers kind of popped up from the side of her bed with a knife or whatever, and then killed her.
Yeah.
And that like stuck with me for years. I was always scared that Michael Myers was underneath my damn bed.
Well, imagine that. Like, that was a choice for them to watch that. Like, they rented that probably on like VHS or beta tape, whatever. Definitely. But they played this on.
They had to go to a store.
Yeah, they had to go to a video store. But it was shown on TV. Like, you just turned the TV on and it was there. Like, I just feel like that's way different. Like, that's super more fucking real than renting a movie. Like, they're going to show it on TV? That's a possibility. It's probably more true. Balloons come out of sewers.
What?
I don't know.
Balloons come out of sewers?
You obviously...
I barely remember the movie. I barely remember it.
Yeah, balloons came out of the sewer. Tim Curry played it, right? Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. I played Pennywise the Clown. Yep.
Yeah.
Can I touch on one thing there? You said you watched that when you were a junior in high school?
Something like that. I was a high schooler.
That was like 92. I'm looking at your picture on Facebook. You are a goddamn vampire. How were you that old in 92? And you look younger than I do today.
Well, no, I didn't watch it. I watched it on DVD like years later.
Oh,
yeah. I graduated. I graduated in 2001.
Okay, so you are younger than me. Thank God, because I was like, what the fuck? This guy is like 45, and he just looks amazing.
When did you graduate from high school? What year?
2000.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
00. Dub. 00.
So a whole year younger than Sarge.
Frenzy, what about you? I know it's not
technically
like a woman her age, but
I graduated in 1997.
You are a damn vampire too.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but
you don't age.
Well,
you, Stacey Dash, and Paul Rudd.
We Northerners don't age. We age pretty well. It's cold most of the time. That helps preserve your skin from wrinkling.
Oh, yeah, we don't get it to go out in the sun,
It's the cold weather, man. It helps you age slower.
Uh-huh.
And I thought you guys are in Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I love Minnesota.
Have you been?
Oh, I've been a few times.
Yeah.
Rochester, Goonies Comedy Club. I've been there a couple of times. When I was first going on the road back in like 2008 or 7, I did this bar in downtown Minneapolis. I don't remember the name of it. I just remember it was like kind of small, but it was two sides.
Okay.
So, and the comedy clubs, it was really super nice. And Sauk Rapids, been there a couple of times.
Benton Station.
I've been all over. That I had not.
That's
but every
in
time
Sauk
I've
Rapids.
been anywhere in Minnesota.
Oh, no, that's Sauk Center. No, that's Sauk Rapids.
Benton Station?
No. What the fuck is where's Benton Station?
I don't know. That's where Frank Roche, our guest tomorrow night's performing
that's
there.
Not Sauk Rapids.
Anyways, Rochester.
I know Sauk Rapids. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that Sauk Rapids, I remember that you walked into, it just looked like a bar like out of Roadhouse or something, and there's all like these really tough-looking guys sitting at the bar, and then you go into this giant showroom, giant, like 180-person showroom bar area after that.
I'm just more interested in Roadhouse Patrick Swayze, like that whole thing.
She likes dudes who can do roundhouse kicks.
I do.
That's kind of her thing. If you can do a roundhouse kick, Frenzy is all yours.
But you also have to like football.
I cannot do a kick.
You better practice your roundhouse kicks, dude.
The legs, I'm all legs.
You're all legs.
let's pause real quick to hear a word from our sponsor.
Shut up!
Hey, this is Frenzy here to talk to you about National Survival Center. This is the place where you can purchase all of your outdoor camping gear and supplies, survival kits, disaster preparedness supplies, bug out bags, and even survival food. All with some of the lowest prices on the internet and free shipping on almost everything. You can depend on National Survival Center to provide you with the highest quality gear paired with superior customer service. And when you purchase your gear from National Survival Center, you're not only getting a great product, but you're receiving products that have all been hand tested to ensure that they'll be reliable, durable, and that they'll function properly. So whether you need some gear for a family camping adventure, or maybe you want to stock up for the zombie apocalypse, National Survival Center can provide you with the quality products you're looking for. You can find them at www.nationalsurvivalcenter.com or www.survivedon'tsuffer.com. Either way, don't suffer, make sure you survive. So what have you been doing lately besides the wrestle?
Don't forget the
wrestle. Wrestle. Oh, I can do the A pretty good. Wrastlemania podcast. You've been doing some stand-up stuff, or what have you been working on?
Yeah, how's that going?
I that's my full-time job, so it's even beyond on stage. It's a lot of writing and a ton of rejection and emailing and being ignored and kind of a lot of persistence. So it's a full-time job. But I went to the Bahamas last year for 2 weeks. I performed at the Atlantis.
Oh, good for you. Seriously?
No, it was awful.
Oh, I want to go there so bad.
It's like everybody thinks it's the Bahamas. It's just going to be amazing. And it is at first, you get there and it is beautiful and the weather's amazing and it's, nice, but I'm there to be a comedian for 2 weeks. And my friends all had this idea that it was going to be like Spring Break 99, where it's just beautiful women everywhere and
boobs and beer and stuff.
It's the Atlantis, man. It's really expensive. So it's a lot of families and a lot of, like, the only beautiful, younger women are there with 70-year-old guys who could crush me with their wallet. So I have no chance whatsoever. And I was spending about 22 hours a day by myself, and then I'd see the other comedian at the show. And I was with one of my best friends, Dave Landau, who's a great comedian out of Detroit, and his wife came, and so they just had a baby in the past year, so I'm trying to let them have their time together. So 22 hours a day, you're by yourself. And it's really expensive to call back home or even really text. So it's a lot of isolation. And then the club itself just sucks ass.
Why?
Really?
Yeah, because it's just a little small comedy club inside the hotel, and it holds maybe 175 people or so, but only 40 show up. So it's 40 people. The show's not till 9:30, so they're all really good and drunk. They let them just seat themselves. No one sits anywhere near the stage. They all sit in these booths that align the back wall. So as a comedian, you're basically looking at empty chairs and just hearing things.
How awkward is
off
that?
in the distance.
Oh, that's
it's
weird.
The most awkward thing. And it's just people from all different parts of America. And then, some people from Europe and stuff mixed in. And a few Bohemians, local people, will come to the shows. But, the shows were the worst part of the whole thing. And that was what I was looking forward to most. And you don't do well with merchandise because everybody's already spent a ton of money being at the hotel and everything. And then they have a
gig like that, as long as it pays decent, you kind of got to just chalk it up for it is what it is,
It's basically you do it as a cheap vacation to the Bahamas because you cover your travel. So you cover, my airplane ticket was $400 and something. And then you have to pay, it's a $7.50 per day maid fee, whether you use the room service or not. So that ends up, and it's 2 weeks. Oh. And then you get a 50% discount at 3 restaurants inside the little Atlantis resort. But even that's still pretty pricey. So, after food and doing any sort of entertainment, I mean, I think I probably spent $150 to $200, which is not bad. I know guys that have gone and ended up with their hotel bills and room service or getting drinks at, around at the bars just using their room key. They end up walking out with like $1,000 bill and they're getting paid, $600 a week.
Well, you still got paid though, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, it was a very cheap vacation, but at the same time, for what I was expecting, because I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to the Bahamas, to then the reality of like, oh my God, I can't fucking wait to leave the Bahamas. If one more person asks me if I want to ride on a jet ski or if I want my short ass hair braided, I'm going to lose my mind.
Well, you got to try to make the best of it. If you get paid decent enough for the gig, like why not, actually turn it into a vacation? Bring a chick or bring a friend or something. And actually enjoy yourself while you're there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I try to never really complain about comedy as a job just because of the fact that, I mean, what is there to really complain about? I did telemarketing for about 5 years.
Gross.
And that was a job you could, yeah, exactly. And I worked customer service at Best Buy for a few years as well. So, yeah, I try to never complain about stand-up, but...
Yeah, that's, in my opinion, and I'm sure Frenzy probably agrees, she's mixing up some cocktails right now. We're both big fans of comedy in general and comedians, and the bravery it can take to actually go out and decide, like, I'm going to be a comedian, and that's going to be my career. That's a dream job. Having the ability to pay your bills and actually make a living off getting on stage and slinging jokes, it's pretty badass.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's just a natural lack of shame. I think that's the biggest quality
that
of a comedian shares.
It helps.
I mean, it really is that, because you're going up on stage in front of strangers and you're saying ridiculous things with the hopes that they're going to not only accept it, but accept you. I mean, that gives a need for acceptance. I have a almost chronically, condition of just needing acceptance from strangers. And to the point where, like, I'll play PlayStation online, and about the only game I really play is the NBA 2K game, and they have this feature where you can take a player and you go play in this it's like a street park, and you play with other people online, just random people, and you join on teams. And anytime somebody has a microphone and is talking, I'm too afraid to get on the microphone, but I feel the need to play well for them. That's how sick the condition is. I feel like I have to do well for this teammate who's just some 14-year-old kid, playing. But then if I miss a shot or something and they're talking shit, I feel pressure. I don't feel pressure going in front of 400 people and telling jokes.
Yeah, that's so weird because that's a common theme for comedians, it seems like, where they need some kind of attention. I mean, it's you. Think about what a comedian does. They stand on a stage with a spotlight on them and a microphone in their hand, and they're talking to a whole crowd, and nobody else is allowed to speak, just you. If that's
it's the most self-indulgent form of entertainment.
Yeah, but then a lot of comedians are also social, awkward when it comes to social situations, and aren't necessarily real comfortable being in, big crowds or, mingling with a lot of people. But when they get on stage, they have no problem.
Yeah, because most of them are narcissists. Not to be a dick, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
Oh, I have super bad social anxiety. If I
what is the thing with that? You guys are a lot of comedians are narcissistic. Mm-hmm. I mean, to be perfectly honest, in a way, but they all tend to be awkward socially. They have anxiety when it comes to social situations.
Right, but I also feel like the awkwardness maybe isn't there forever. I think that some comedians get to experience this kind of epic, mind-blowing situation. Maybe it's on stage or it's something in their life that happens where they're like, oh shit, I guess I don't really care anymore about what people think about me on stage. They get past that moment, and then I feel like that's when they get to really be more successful because they're not worrying about that stage fright situation. I don't know. It's just an observation I've had over doing these podcasts.
Yeah, well, it's a job that people
Sherlock Frenzy.
consider to be tough. It's a job people don't consider to be tough. I mean, it's, you know, if I complain about, you know, something with comedy, most people are kind of like, oh, what are you bitching about? You know, it's not a tough job. You only have to work a half hour a night. But you don't realize how being on stage for a half hour and entertaining people, especially in the form of comedy, which is the hardest form to pull off, because when you tell somebody, hey, listen to this song, they'll be pretty lenient. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, I don't mind it. It's a good song. Mm-hmm. If you tell somebody, hey, you want to hear a joke, they're like, okay, try to make me laugh. It's a challenge almost. So when you do it, you know, professionally, it takes a toll on you mentally. Like, it drains you, like, mentally and emotionally, because also after the show you do a meet and greet, and, you know, you're trying to sell merchandise and you're talking to people. That kind of stuff just kind of, it takes a lot of your energy out. That's the tough part about it. And it sounds silly because, like, a guy that goes out and works on a roof for 14 hours a day in 100-degree weather is like, yeah, I'm sure that's just exhausting, you know, having to talk for 30 minutes. But it's a different type of exhaustion.
Well, yeah, there's the physical exhaustion, there's the emotional exhaustion, like you're investing time and effort into something. Mental. I mean, I watched the Super Bowl, and after the second half, like, I literally could have slept for like a week because I was so emotionally invested and like exhausted after watching it. Like that. Yeah. I mean, there's different things that make you tired and make you feel how you feel. It doesn't always have to be physical, but
in all reality, being a comedian professionally, and that's your main career, it's a pretty sweet gig. It's in comparison to, you know, a 9-to-5 job. You know, it's a hard job. I mean, actually to be successful as a comedian, to come up with great comedy year in and out.
And you don't have a steady paycheck. You don't have, like, on the 1st and the 15th of every month, your paycheck's probably not going to be the same.
It's a hard job, but it's a pretty sweet job if you find a way to be successful.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, it's a hard job to actually do, as far as, like, getting people to pay you to do it. I mean, I feel very lucky that I'm at the point I'm in my career now, because I've seen progress throughout my career, and I keep, you know, I'm lucky enough to keep getting chances to progress. And there's guys that are just as funny, if not funnier than me, who don't get the same opportunity for whatever reason. And that's part of the business, which is another part that makes it tough, is like getting people to give you the chance to prove that you're good at it.
Well, yeah. And that's a whole different, I feel like that's a whole different realm of the whole comedy life. I mean, there's ways where you can say, well, you know, I'm pretty funny. I'm pretty fucking funny. I make people laugh. But I also think that there's the whole gauging your audience. Like, I know that that's like a big no-no in the comedian world, is to say, like, if your audience, you can't blame anything on the audience if they don't think you're funny. That's not their fault. It's your fault, whatever. But I think just being able to, like, read your audience, like, not everybody's black and white. There's so many shades of gray, and just being able to kind of get a feel, maybe, if you can. If you can't, cool, but if you can, I feel like you're going to be more successful, you know? And it's just like in everyday life. Like, some people don't know that they shouldn't cross the street when the light is red. Like, don't ride your fucking bike when the light says don't do it, and they still do it, you know? It's just kind of common sense stuff that maybe you just are born with, or you're not, you know? And that's okay.
Is Frenzy getting worked up into a frenzy?
Maybe a little bit.
I blame crowds all the time.
You're one of those that blames crowds all the time?
Oh yeah, I get the spirit. I get the spirit behind the whole you can't ever blame the crowd, and I think that's for certain situations. Yeah, if you're in a comedy club and it's a packed crowd and they're paying attention and listening and they don't laugh, that's something on you, because that's easy. But I mean, I've done shows, you know, especially like the one-nighter bar shows, where no one listens to you from the moment you step on stage. That's not my fault. I mean, if they're going to just talk amongst themselves, and if they're going to be loud or heckle and all that stuff, that's not my fault. That's not my, you know, job. So
that's what we call people being assholes, is what we call that. Like, that's basically a legitimate thing that you can say, because if you're at a comedy club and you're going to talk over people and not pay attention, like, you shouldn't be there. You're obviously there because you got some free tickets or some shit, or who knows.
I don't necessarily agree 100% with the whole saying that, you know, a good comedian never blames the crowd. It's a nice, neat little saying. It's a good quote. But it's not true in all situations. Obviously, like you said, there's times where, I mean, what if you have a crowd full of like old ladies on their way to a Wayne Newton concert or something, and you're telling dick and fart jokes? You can't win with that crowd. There's no way that you're gonna get those old ladies to laugh.
Well, it's the same. I was just telling him it's the same way that you communicate with people on a regular basis. It's not black and white. There's so many shades of gray. Like, it's just...
You just got to find your crowd.
Exactly.
The ultimate goal in comedy, I think, is to be able to get to a point where you're big enough and recognizable enough where you can develop your own crowd and your own following of people that look to you because they know your style of comedy and they laugh at your jokes because that's their style of comedy. That's the shit that makes them laugh.
Exactly.
That's the dream.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, how did you get started in this whole comedy business? Bring us back to the first time that you decided you were going to be a comedian, and that first time you actually got up the courage to get up on stage.
I went to college for theater because I didn't know really what that meant.
Oh shit!
Oh, you were a thespian.
That's brave.
Well, I looking back now, I'm like, why the fuck would I choose theater? What are you going to do with a theater degree other than just start teaching theater at some point? So I did that for a couple of years, and I was never like, I'm sure if you guys have talked to other comedians, I'm sure you've had probably at least one who's like, I used to watch the Jay Leno or the David Letterman monologues, and I'd recite them the next day at school, and blah, blah, blah. I was always the funny kid in class. Oh, really?
No.
Not on this show.
It's like a cliche comedy answer. Somebody's always like, I used to memorize the Conan monologue, and I'd repeat it at school the next day. I was never that kid. I didn't dream of being a comedian growing up, but I was always the funny kid. And then when I went to college, I dropped out because I was dumb. And my friends and I went to the comedy club here in Indianapolis just to watch, and they were like, you know what, man, you would probably be good at that. Like, if you tried it, like, you're not funnier than Chris Rock or Chappelle or, them, but you'd probably be okay. You'd probably make money. And so I gave it a shot, and literally I did an open mic, and it's the one cliche I will say is very true in comedy is when they say it's like a drug. It very much is. That feeling you get from an audience that laughs at you is uncomparable. And so I got that bug. I had a great set. I had like 40 people from my hometown because I just, I was 20 years old, I think. So I just got, a couple years out of high school. I still had a lot of high school friends that I was in contact with. So everybody came out and watched. It was great because they all knew me and I was comfortable. And then I went and did another open mic somewhere else, and I bombed. It was the longest 6 minutes of my life. I can still remember everything about that set. Like, I'm getting like chills thinking about it because it haunts me to this day. It was so bad, and I was like, oh shit, maybe I'm not good at this. Maybe my friends are just, why was I listening to my friends? None of them are professional comedians. What qualifications do they have to tell me I should be a comedian? And I was about to just say, fuck it, let's find something else to do. And they had a new manager at my home comedy club who took over, and he happened to see my name on the list from one of the open mic I did, and called me and said, you should come out and give it another shot. I just took over, blah, blah, blah. And I went out. I didn't tell a single person that I was going to do it. I wrote what I thought was about 5-6 minutes of completely new stuff that I hadn't said yet. And I gave it one more shot, and I did really well. And from that point on, it's been the majority of my identity to most people that know me.
Nice. Well, that kept you encouraged. Obviously, you're gonna have plenty of times where you're gonna bomb. That's kind of the scars of war that you kind of just need to accrue over the course of being a comedian, I think. Oh, absolutely. And it does change, though, like the definition of bombing when you progress as a comedian. Like when you're an open micer and you're first starting out, bombing is where you're at a comedy club and there's a good amount of people there and just no one laughs. Like it happens a lot, and it's painful. Especially I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen with a lot of like MCs when I'm on the road. The guys going up before me,
And it's heartbreaking because, you know, you're like, oh, I remember that. I remember those days. And, but now for me, like, bombing is where, like, well, these 4 punchlines didn't work like they were supposed to. I don't know the last time I've had a show where everyone was paying attention and just no one laughed during my set. Just no one, you know, thought it was funny. So it changes a little bit the more you do. I'm sorry, what was that?
Except in the Bahamas.
The Bahamas, yeah. But I blame the crowd.
You just don't do well in those island countries.
Man, I know. That's why I've declined offers for, I don't know any other islands. That's how poor. Which is also really sad because I was born in Hawaii on an island. I could have gone right to where I was born. But I choked. You know what? I'm bombing on this podcast. This is.
Oh yeah, it's going pretty bad.
But it's different from the first time.
What island were you born on in Hawaii?
Oahu in Honolulu.
Oahu. Nice.
How long did you live there till?
6 months.
Oh. You know nothing of it.
Yeah. My dad and my mom split up, so my mom and I came back to Indiana. We won that lottery, and it has been 34 years of fucking corn since.
But you're not. But the positive side of that is that you're not addicted to meth.
Are a lot of people in Hawaii addicted to meth, or just in general? Like,
I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of meth in Hawaii. That's what I've heard.
Really?
If you watch Dog the Bounty Hunter, there's a lot of meth in Hawaii.
I think there's a David Attenborough documentary about it.
But yeah, no, I just happened to luck out and live in Indiana, just an hour away from one of the worst HIV epidemics in like 20 years.
Really? There's like an outbreak?
Yes. Southern Indiana was considered, I think, a state of emergency.
What?
Indiana's got, man, I don't want to get into politics and stuff, but people from Indiana don't like Mike Pence for completely different reasons than the rest of the country.
What does that have to do with AIDS?
Does Mike Pence have AIDS? Is that what you said?
No, what? I don't know.
I wonder if he has AIDS. I was like, I hope, but I don't know.
What does that have to do with AIDS?
What, Mike Pence? Just because he's part of the reason that the AIDS epidemic got to where it was. They took money. They took a lot of the funding out of our law enforcement and everything else. So the heroin use spiked up, and it got way more accessible. And that's what led the sharing of the needles is what led to the HIV epidemic. So like the whole reason Indiana's roads are so bad and our crime is so bad is because Mike Pence just saved all that money so he could run for a higher office and boast that he had a $2 billion surplus. Because when people in Indiana heard that shit during like the campaign, we were like, what the fuck? You had $2 billion and our roads look like this, motherfucker? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, well, and it's different for you because you're from Indiana and he was the governor of Indiana. That's like us being like, Jesse Ventura is vice president of the United States.
I love Jesse Ventura, though. I know you guys. I love him.
He was not fun.
He was a riot. He was entertaining.
He was fun before he joined the government, and after he joined the government, he was like a Looney Tune.
I think he got more fun after he joined.
Have you ever listened to his podcast?
Wacky. No, I haven't listened to it. I should start because that shit's entertaining. I'm sure a lot of it is just whacked out there, but for every 10 whacked out conspiracy theories, one of them is actually probably true.
Mm-hmm. There's an episode he did. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
You better go right now.
Fucking speak, dude. This is your episode.
There's an episode he did with Trump. I think it was about a year before Trump was like really planning on running for president. But you could through the interview and stuff, you can hear him starting to give those same answers that he was, given on the campaign trail and everything else. And then at the end of every episode, he asked his guests, "What would you do differently if you were president?" So he asked Trump this about a year and a half, 2 years maybe before Trump actually becomes the president. And it's just I don't know, it's a little eerie in a way.
What did he say?
I don't remember off the top of my head. I know.
We're not going to talk about fucking politics. Nope.
We've been talking about it for the last 5 minutes.
We're stopping now. Unless you're going to talk about like stepping into a Slim Jim, like Wrastlemania kind of stuff. Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant.
Quit touching your mic.
Sorry, I can't help it.
Frenzy thinks that that the moon landing was fake and that JFK was killed by an astronaut.
No, I don't. You're so full of shit.
Tell you what, man, some of that stuff will get you. Even if you know part of your brain says this is logically not possible, there's some convincing shit out there that'll, I mean, is Jay-Z and Beyonce leaders of the Illuminati? I don't know.
Baby. I don't know. The only like biggest like scientific like big thing that I can remember is when the Challenger exploded.
That was the one that had the teacher on it, right?
Yeah. Krista McAuliffe was the teacher. She was a teacher, and they like wheeled in the TV on the stand, and they were like, "We're gonna get to watch TV, kids, today in school." And I think I was in like 3rd grade. So when the TV gets wheeled in, you know it's gonna be a good day. It's usually a Friday.
Hell yeah.
Because they planned it out like, hey kids, like Friday is like our happy day too, so we're gonna share the TV love with you. So we're gonna skip like spelling and whatever religion class because I went to Catholic school. So break out the TV, and it was the Challenger is gonna take off and whatever, and then it was all this whole special thing because a teacher was a part of it, and then nope, it just blows up into tiny pieces in front of you. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm traumatized for life.
So you saw that in 3rd grade?
Yeah, on class? TV. Yeah.
Was that fucked up? Like,
super fucked up.
Did everybody freak out?
Everyone started crying, basically.
Really? I don't remember that.
There was like, I went to Catholic school, so there was like 17 kids in our class.
What year was that?
I don't know. Like,
was I even alive? I was probably
80s. I'll look it up.
I was probably like a baby.
I want to say like late 80s. Go ahead.
The teacher was like, all right. The teacher was like, all right, everybody, to calm you down because you're so upset, we're going to put on this movie about clowns.
Yeah, It.
And that was a day that changed Frenzy's life forever.
Right? I think both of those were big kind of little things that happened in my life that made me who I am now. Weird.
So changing subject a little bit here, while Frenzy looks up Challenger, just traumatizing Challenger information.
It's horrible.
With your podcast, with the Showdown Podcast, how we've had Corey on the show, and we're planning on having Vic on at some point too. We don't want him to feel left out, and he's actually the heart and soul of that show.
Oh, Vic. Okay, sorry to interrupt. Challenger explosion, 1986.
Okay, I was 3.
So I was 7.
Yeah.
That's so
you'd
little.
You'd have been like 1st grade.
I was in 1st grade, yeah. But I remember that. I remember watching it. Like, that's sad.
And then immediately after you watched that explode, they told you that Santa wasn't real, and the Easter Bunny wasn't real, and the Tooth Fairy wasn't real. They're like, we gotta get it in now while they're traumatized.
No, all that stuff I still believed in.
They're in shock. Just tell them now.
I was good. I was good with all the other things.
Yeah. So how do you and Corey and Vic, have you guys known each other forever? Corey, for our listeners out there who don't know, the Showdown Podcast has 3 hosts. Brad Scott, Corey, who basically handles the whole logistics of everything, I believe, right?
That is correct.
He's the producer, and Vic Miller. How did you guys all come together to make that show?
Corey saw me at a comedy club in Indiana a while ago, probably maybe 6-7 years ago at least, and just really liked my set and enjoyed my stand-up, so he came out again when I was there. Very, very creepy.
Super stalkerish, kind of.
Yeah.
Like
you see an old
Mark
man
Wahlberg
blaring.
in Fear. Did he pound his chest when he saw you? Like, right?
Well, he did finger me on a roller coaster. So.
And he tattooed Fear on his boobs for you, his moobs.
But he came up to me about probably... Yeah, this was going to a complete... We said we weren't going to go to a dark place on this show, and then all of a sudden now we're...
We're talking about moobs.
He was in your back seat when he got into the car. Brad, he just pops up from the back seat. Brad, I want you to be on my podcast.
Just look at like the Travelocity gnome sitting back there.
Right?
Starts brushing your hair. Corey, we love you, man.
And then Vic was in the
Yes,
trunk,
we do.
so we were like, "Yeah, let's
Vic
do
is in the
this."
trunk. Well, that's a black man. I always got to be in the trunk.
They'd known each other for years, and then
Okay.
Corey and I knew each other. So Corey had this idea for a movie podcast where he and I would argue that which movie was better than the other, and Vic would be the judge that decided who was the winner. And the three of us got together. None of us had ever done a podcast. I don't think none of us had ever. I think I had been on one very, very small upstart comedians podcast, and it was just bad and awful. And none of us knew what we were doing. And so, like I said, the first handful of episodes especially are just the show's finding itself, and it's very slow. And we were all kind of afraid to really joke with each other, because Vic and I mean, we literally met the first day that we recorded the first episode. That was the first time Vic and I ever met. And so it was a decently long feeling out process to kind of figure out where we could joke with each other and what was kind of on and off limits. And now, if I listen to parts of, at the newer episodes, I'm just like, wow, we've come a long way from, with me being able to make fun of how old Corey is, and Vic's always the black guy and everything. But that's kind of how it came together. Just
we need to get a black guy.
Filling it out.
podcast.
Yeah,
Wow.
see, you talk about how great it is to have a woman. Imagine having a black woman.
That's even better though. You guys got a black guy. We got a woman.
Yeah, we should do like a crossover episode. We should
Yeah.
do Sarge Approved visits the Showdown.
Right?
Yeah.
The Sarge Approved
Like we could set it up
Showdown.
like those old sitcom crossovers where like your guys'
Yeah.
car breaks down in our podcast.
Like when the
So, and we
Jetsons
gotta
and the
help-
Flintstones did that movie.
You got to help us find our way back to the past because Corey left his medication there. But we can't go too far back in the past because Vic's black, so we'll keep it from like the 80s on.
How long has the Showdown been going on? When did you guys start?
Man, I want to say it was like August of 2014 or so, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah, August 30th, 2014 was our first episode.
How many episodes have you done now?
The Wolverine episode that we just put out last week for the X-Men Origins Wolverine was our 100th.
I think that you guys mentioned that, didn't you?
Yeah, we had a big celebration spectacular. The audio sounds bad.
He's
but
like, Sarge, you said you listened to the episode. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, dude? I promise you, I listened to the whole thing.
I've listened to every episode.
I did listen to it. I promise.
The best part of that was that it was literally the last episode that was put out. Like, that was the best part. Like, how many episodes have you guys had? Oh, we just celebrated a milestone on the air for the first 10 minutes of our show where we actually reminisced and talked about, past episodes.
I might have gotten distracted during that part. Oh, I do remember that. You talked about past episodes. That's right. I got it. And you guys...
My personal favorite episode is the Child's Play episode because my daughter, Harper, who is 9 years old, was on there. And that's her favorite movie is Child's Play. And it was she's into horror movies, creepy pasta, which is like the scary stories of the new generation.
She's into bricks in your face.
Ah, there it is. Yeah. Man, I've heard that so many times.
Yeah,
I was at never anywhere like cool. It's not like if I'm on a date with like a beautiful woman and we're at a restaurant, it's never like the waiter comes over and he's like, the chef would like for me to tell you, I put that brick in your face, and here's the house's finest bottle of wine. All compliments, of course. It's never that. It's like, true story. I was about 3 or 4 years ago. I had a bunch of gigs that unfortunately fell through for whatever reason, and so I needed to find like a job through the holidays to balance out losing that work. And so I was going to go work at Burlington Coat Factory for the holidays, and I'm going to interview, and this woman is waiting to take me upstairs, and she's the manager. She's the only manager on duty. The cashier has an issue, so she's talking to the cashier. I'm having to like kind of stand off to the side awkwardly, and the guy in line steps over and goes, "Hey, are you a comedian?" And I go, yeah. And he goes, were you at Crackers, which is my home comedy club, a couple of weeks ago? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I'll put that brick in your face. And the manager just turns and looks at me. And as we're walking back to the office, she goes, does this happen a lot? And I go, only when I'm applying for a job in retail.
That's awesome.
Or if I'm buying cigarettes with change.
That's awesome, though, dude. You gotta get some T-shirts made or something. Brick in your face.
Well, I don't want to piss off Stitches.
Ah.
Have you looked anything up on Stitches? Have you seen who this person is?
No, let me pull it up.
It's amazing. He's an awful human being, but it's just so entertaining to watch. His wife came and pulled him off the stage at a concert one time because he had like these girls on there and they were doing cocaine on the stage, and his wife literally comes up and makes him get off the stage. Oh, it's so funny. He has tattoos all over. He has a gun tattooed on his cheek. Oh, it's amazing.
Stitches. I don't see where Stitches. I see some Shawn Mendes song by Stitches.
Yeah, and then he had Molly Cyrus was another song of his. He's a horrible human being, but he's damn entertaining.
Brick in your face.
The music video for Brick in Your Face is like, I think it's him dressed as like Pinhead from Hellraiser, and there's just like cocaine flying around the room. Well, I'm sure.
He's missing a tooth or something too, I think.
Have you heard of him before? Stitches?
Yeah, I looked it up, but my computer wouldn't play the YouTube video. I looked it up.
Let me see. Here it is. Let me see if you can hear it.
Because we watched some of your stand-up, and you were talking about it.
Now what you gonna do with it? Now what
Yes,
you gonna do
and that's
with
a
it?
true
Now
story.
what you gonna do with it?
Can you hear that? You probably can't hear that.
I
We were
cannot.
still talking, and you just cut us off by playing the video like a dick.
I was looking for the Brick in Your Face video.
No, that
Nothing.
joke is a 100% true story. It is. I saw a classroom of about 15 second graders all at once just singing, I put that brick in your face. Now what you going to do with it? But I have my money when I come to collect.
I can't believe that she actually just loves that song. It's crazy.
Oh,
It's crazy what kids
Still
cling to.
Yeah, still loves it to this day. It's a very catchy song.
I gotta go pee.
After you interrupt our conversation. So you know that song "Shut Up and Dance with Me"? Have you heard that?
I'm sorry, what's that?
The song "Shut Up and Dance with Me." Have you heard that? Shut up and dance with me. It's basically like the song where they talk about they say "shut up" in it. I
have not.
You haven't heard that song, really?
I
Okay.
not, no.
I have a friend who was a little kid, and that's like his only excuse to say the word "shut up" is by singing that song. So he asks to play it in the car every single time the car starts. Play it on the iPad. Any if there's any kind of open space where that is available to play, he's like, "Can you play the song?" Because he can say "shut up" and he won't get in trouble. It's pretty funny.
So she's strict on the language then.
Yeah.
Did you,
Well-
when you were a kid, were your parents strict? Were you not allowed to curse? And
Oh,
did
yeah,
you get
I
in
went
big
to-
trouble if you did curse.
I went to Catholic school, so yeah. I mean, I had to go to confession once a week and do that whole thing. We couldn't even say "shut up" or "you're stupid" or anything like that. It was all very, very strict.
Did they hit you with a yardstick?
No, they didn't hit us with a yardstick, but we had to basically memorize more Bible verses than the good kids did, kind of thing. We weren't beaten or anything, but we still wore uniforms and still had to do the whole thing. And it was almost worse. I'd almost rather be beaten with a ruler or something versus just the words and the things that they would say that would make you feel like an asshole, like a shitty person.
Like Jesus doesn't love you?
Right, you're going to hell, or your parents, or we pray for your parents because they have to put up with you as a person, that kind of stuff. I'd rather just be hit with a ruler versus having to be made feel like that.
Now, if you had a kid, would you be strict with their language?
I would.
I don't know. It depends. For me.
I would. I don't want my kids spouting out swear words at school or
No, I agree. I would be, because they're just words. At some point, somebody decided that the word fuck is a bad word. Who decided that?
Right. But at the same time, you don't necessarily know when your kid is going to use that word.
True. You have to, if they're, I wouldn't want my kid just saying cuss words around me either. And definitely not in school or around adults or anything. But if they're cussing when they're around their little friends, whatever.
If they're at an appropriate age and they know when they should use it or when they shouldn't use it, then it's fine.
Yes.
Because I used to say fuck all the time when I was probably in third grade.
I swear a lot and I don't even realize it.
Right, but I knew when it was appropriate to use it and when it wasn't appropriate.
I love the word fuck.
I do too.
God, it's a beautiful word.
Yeah, it is. But there's a time and a place for it, especially when you're 11 years old.
A lot of times and places. It's such a universal word.
Gross.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, isn't that weird though? I mean, who decided at one point that the word fuck was a bad word, or asshole, or who decided that these were bad words?
I've always been fascinated just with language, period. Who started and decided that one language was going to be different than another, and who decided what was going to be called what?
Yeah, it's weird. I have family that lives in Germany, and they're like basically like if you were to say fuck like 40 times over, their equivalent to that is Schwein, which means pig. But over there, it's like totally like, oh my gosh, you're totally going to hell like tomorrow morning.
If you say Schwein,
yeah, Schwein, which means
call
pig.
Somebody a pig. That's
you
like
call
saying
them
fuck?
If you say Schwein, it's like worse. It's like the worst of worst.
Really?
Yep. Like you're going to hell tomorrow morning. You got a first class ticket. Like sign your shit up. You're out of here.
Weird.
It's really weird.
And then you have countries, like in England and shit, where they say cunt. Like every other word is cunt.
Yeah.
But over here, it's like one of the most taboo words you can say.
Yes, there's a comedian named Daniel Sloss. He is brilliant. He's from Scotland. He was kind of like a comedy prodigy when he was like 16 in Scotland and over in Europe. He sells out these festivals and everything. And he was telling me that he had an experience where when he came to America for one of the first times, he was in a movie theater, and these 16-year-old kids that are in front of him and his friend are talking and being obnoxious, and everybody in the theater is getting frustrated. So finally, he just goes off on them. He's like, listen, you little pieces of shit. If you don't shut the fuck up, I'm going to take you outside, rip your fucking hearts out of your chest, blah, blah, blah. Just really graphically violent stuff. And everything. The theater applauds him. Everyone in the theater applauds him. He's a hero. And so they're quiet for, a few minutes, and then one of the kids says something else, and he just goes, listen, you little cunt. And they threw him out of the theater.
What? Yeah, that's so weird. Why is cunt such a bad word in the States here?
Most females don't use the word cunt to describe their vagina or their pussy. They say vagina or pussy, or that's pretty much it. You don't say, my cunt, I want you to be inside my cunt.
Well,
like, that sounds disgusting and violent.
Yeah, but that's the thing, violent.
It does.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing is that most people, when they say the word cunt, they're not even referring to a vagina.
No, they're not. It's not a...
You know what I mean?
Right. You're not like, I can't wait for you to be inside my moist cunt. Like, no one says that.
when you call like a woman a cunt, you're not calling her a vagina. You're calling her a bitch, basically.
Right. I would call a guy vagina, or say his vagina is full of sand. So you have a sandy vagina.
So why is
and that's
cunt
not
so
as
bad
as a cunt. I don't know. It's
like
just
saying
not
bitch.
good.
Is it a hard K?
Probably. It's got that it's, I don't know, the way you say it, just cunt.
It's just a bad, it's
cunt.
just, I don't know.
I don't know, it's weird. I mean, it's basically saying bitch, but I know women don't like being...
It's worse than that.
In our society, it is, for some reason. But, I mean, women don't like being called a bitch either, but cunt is, for some reason, that's just like icing on the cake.
Oh, I can totally be a
What's
bitch,
the male
but a cunt?
equivalent?
No.
I don't think there is one. You could call a guy a dick, and they're like, yeah, I'm kind of a dick.
Nothing.
You call a guy a dick, and I tend to agree with you. Like, yeah,
you could be like,
kind of a dick.
The equivalent, I guess, would be like, you have a small dick, would be equivalent to a cunt. Like, you have a mini dick.
That's just
or
hurtful.
Like you're,
That's just hurtful.
A cunt is the same thing.
No, we're not saying you have a small cunt.
It doesn't matter if you have a big cunt or a small cunt. No one gives a fuck how big your cunt is. You're saying the word cunt.
But a guy cares if you say that his
That's
dick
what
is
I'm
small.
saying. I know that they do. That's why I'm saying that.
So it's way worse.
No, it's not.
I will say, in one instance, you can prove one of them.
Right.
Well, you can prove
You
both.
can prove a woman's a big cunt, but you can't necessarily prove a man has a small penis.
Especially if
Sure
if he had been swimming recently. Like, that is
was
for
in the
sure.
pool.
I was in the pool. Like, what do you want me to do?
Oh,
But as a guy,
did.
like, a guy would be way more hurt if you said, especially
No,
in front
I
of
don't
some
think
people,
that's true.
especially in front of some people, if you're like, you have a small dick. And that would hurt a guy's feelings way more than if you called a girl a cunt.
Yeah, but
'cause you call a girl a cunt, that doesn't hurt her feelings. That pisses her off.
Yeah, but you could whip out your dick and prove him wrong, so you have the
Well, what if
opportunity
it is
to show him
small?
wrong. Well, then that's your problem, and it's true.
But
so
you just made
sorry
it.
for you.
You just put it on everyone's radar.
Yeah,
you didn't
but-
want anyone to know his dick was small.
Too bad. Sorry.
Oh, this is getting too close to home.
It's like saying, like, you're not circumcised. I'm not? Oh, actually, I'm not.
This is
No, I'm
feeling
not.
really personal.
Huh? Your dick size is your dick size, whether you like it or not. Deal with it.
But I feel women made a mistake though. I
How's
feel
that?
women went to that bullet way too many times to where I don't think it's as embarrassing if a woman says you have a small dick, because it's kind of assumed that that's just the go-to to try to hurt. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, totally.
It's lost,
Still sucks.
it's lost some
Honestly,
of the sting.
I am a mature woman. I honestly do not care about dick size. Like, don't send me dick pics. Like, I don't want to see it.
Yes,
But, like,
send Frenzy all your dick pics.
if you know how to work it, if you know how to please a woman without your dick, with your dick, whatever, it doesn't matter what size you are, as long as you don't have STDs. Would be like the most awesome part about it. Second, like, you know how to work it and do your shit. You're confident. You can be whatever. Then who cares what size you are, really?
But size helps, right?
I don't really necessarily agree with that. I really don't. I think that's a male confidence thing.
What if it's like the size of like a baby carrot? I don't think he's gonna.
That's unfortunate.
I don't think he's gonna be working the same.
Yeah, it's probably not going to work so good. But I don't know. I mean, there's things about girls' vaginas that you probably do like and don't like.
So
like,
what you're saying is as long as it's not like ridiculously small, it doesn't have to be ridiculously huge.
Well, it's the same as a girl's
Right.
vagina. You don't want her vagina to be ridiculously large.
Like
because
throwing a hot
you're
dog
not
down
gonna-
a hallway.
Yeah, you're not going to feel anything. Like, right? But maybe if you have a squirter, like, you might like that. Maybe not. I don't know. Depends on your taste. Who knows? There's lots of different variables that are involved with penises and vaginas.
We just turned into the Sex Talk podcast.
We did.
With Sue.
Yeah.
You remember her, that old woman?
Francis is gonna go out on a solo venture.
I'm going to go on a mission to find out about the sexual...
No, she's gonna be like Justin Timberlake. She's gonna leave the band, go on a solo career, and start her own sex podcast.
And then she's going to bring sexy back.
Yeah,
just...
She's going to bring small penises back.
small penises matter.
I'm going to bring small penises and cunts together as one. They can love each other.
All penises matter.
Yeah, I don't think there's really an equivalent. I don't think there's one word you can call a man.
No.
That's like cunt, that gets the same reaction that you get when you call a woman a cunt.
I've seen men call other men's cunts.
Like, really think about it, though. If somebody calls you a cunt, it's because society has, for some reason, come to a point where the word cunt is so bad. But if you really break it down, does it really make you that mad if somebody calls you a cunt?
it's just it's become that the word cunt has become a negative, like, connotation behind it. Like, it's not a
silly.
positive word.
Right. It's just so silly.
It is super silly.
That people get
It's like
so
you could be
worked
like,
up
"You're
about
such
the
an
word cunt."
areola. You're such an areola."
Exactly.
You know,
yeah.
like, what's
You're
the difference
fucking,
between, you know what I mean?
You are the biggest elbow I know.
Yeah. What the f? You're the biggest.
You dirty nostril.
Chode. I know. Well, chode, I guess, is probably equivalent to cunt, maybe.
Oh my god, we are running off the rails here. What is going on with this podcast? Brad, let's get back to you, man. My man, Bradley Scott.
Please don't ever make me say the word chode
again. So let's get back to your comedy, huh? Were we talking about comedy?
We were talking about comedy.
Yeah.
So you've got your website, bradscottcomedy.com.
Wait. Let me ask you first, real quick. How much traveling are you doing with your comedy? Have you been? I mean, this is your main career.
He went to the Bahamas. Remember, he stayed at.
Yeah, you did do that, but I'm just like, how much are you venturing out of your kind of your state?
Oh, a bunch. Let's see here. I'm in Michigan this weekend. I I've got a thing in Pennsylvania. I'm doing one night in Pennsylvania and then the next night in Virginia later on in the month. I did a run. I think it was last summer where another comedian and I, he booked all the gigs, but we started. The first night was in Kansas, and over the course of I think it was 10 days, we worked our way to New Mexico, stopping at a new place each night to do a show, and we did like another place in Kansas the next night, then a place in Oklahoma, and then a place in Texas, and then a couple of nights in New Mexico, and then drove back. So I think I've performed in like 20-something states, 28, 29 states maybe.
Nice. Sweet, dude. Well, when are you going to bring your ass to Minnesota again?
I'm there a decent amount. There's a agency I work for called Funny Business, which is a very good comedy agency. They treat comics pretty well, and they have a decent amount of rooms. That's where I was. They were who I did Sauk Rapids through.
Okay.
But I will say this: the Minneapolis scene is harder to get into, just because I think it's Acme is the comedy club.
Yeah, that's the big one.
That is a tough room to get in because it's the Mall of America, so they use local guys mainly.
House of Comedy is
that's House
of
Rick Brasson.
But that's
Rick
a big
Bronson.
one too. Acme's a big one. That's been around a lot longer.
That one's downtown
more
mini.
Prestigious. You got your cords on the mic there.
My hair, you mean?
No, the cord actually is on the mic.
Oh, what the F?
No, stop.
You stop.
It's on there. No, you're wrapping it around. Yeah, the Acme's obviously been around a lot longer, but you definitely need to give us a heads up when you come to Minnesota again.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So we can come out.
I love Minnesota, man. People are so nice.
That's what they say.
No, we're not, really.
We're passive-aggressive.
Super passive-aggressive.
Yeah, we're so nice.
We're all a bunch of cunts. No, like, if someone were...
we're all a bunch of small dicks.
What's that bit that we heard, like, someone hits your car, and then they get out of the car, and they're like, oh my gosh, are you okay? Okay. I'm gonna call a cab for you and get your car towed and all this stuff, and it's like, they're the one that hit your car. Like, your car's fucked. But you're, like, basically taking care of the person that hit you. Because they're drunk or stoned out of their mind or whatever, but like you're being nice. They're like, "Oh, I'll make sure you're okay."
Okay. Speaking of,
hey, you guys drink.
Speaking of okay and getting told, we sent you a pretty sweet little promo.
Oh yeah.
Did you listen to that we sent to Corey?
No, I didn't. No, I did not get it.
Corey, you son of a bitch!
You dick!
Oh, we laid down the Minnesota accent thick.
Oh no, that asshole never
ridiculously thick.
Yeah, we did like you're listening to the Showdown Podcast.
Don't you know that whole stick? You have to get on Corey's ass and let you listen to that one.
He probably deleted it.
That son of a
No,
bitch.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, well, what happened was apparently one of the mics wasn't a mic at all. So wasn't even something that was plugged in. It was just actually a bottle of sunscreen that happened to be sitting on the table. we lost it. Sorry, we lost it. Don't worry. I'm gonna do a 5-minute intro before the actual podcast starts. I'm gonna explain what happened with the mic, but I'm gonna tell them, hey, you're just gonna get one half of this promo.
Plus, it's okay because it really wasn't going to work for us anyway. So, in a way, it was a blessing. But...
How much? So how much material do you have? Do you got like a tight 30? Are you up to an hour, 45 minutes? Where are you at?
Very very close to an hour.
Nice.
I could do an hour if I was booked for it. But as far as like it being an hour that like I would want to record and be my full hour, there's a couple of spots that I'm still like tightening up as far as working in newer stuff and getting some jokes that just, feel older to me, even if they're not topical. I feel like I've been doing them for too long. So, that's the thing as a comedian, you have to always evolve that, because even if a joke isn't about a certain time, if it's not like about a current event, like it can just feel stale just because of, for many different reasons, even if it's sometimes you've just told the joke too much.
Right, so you just kind of are constantly kind of reinventing it and kind of tweaking it a little bit. Or doing something completely different.
Well, you gotta throw old shit out eventually.
Well, you would be surprised. Like, especially the bar show circuit, it is filled with guys doing like 90s references, Clinton jokes,
Really?
Monica Lewinsky jokes, stuff like that. Oh yeah.
Ew.
That sounds lazy. That sounds really
And
lazy.
their intro is always, he's been on HBO and Showtime. It's always that guy.
Huh. Yeah, sounds like they haven't evolved at all in the last 15 years, 10, 15, 20 years. They just kind
I was going
of...
to say, sometimes it goes deeper than that.
Yeah, they plateaued, and then they just kind of stayed there. That's sad.
Well, and they're usually the ones that are the biggest dicks to you when you work with them as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
Because they look at it as they're too good for where they're at. And so they usually aren't very sociable, and always, I feel like it's a much better show and experience for not just like the comics, but also the audience when the comics do get along, at least in the sense of being fellow comedians. Because like, especially bar shows, when you're not in a place that's designed for comedy, it's intimidating because especially in smaller towns, people know you're probably the comedian because they don't know you.
Right.
You know, like they know everyone else in the bar. You're the one person no one knows, so they kind of already assume that. And then, like, I sell T-shirts, so I got to lug this fucking suitcase in there. So now everybody's like, "Ooh, is he a magician or is he a prop comic?" And you have to deal with that. And so when you find the other comedian, it's usually like an alliance. It's you against them, to get the show going. And some guys, you meet them and you're just like, "Oh man, we're not going to be like I'm going to be on my phone by myself for most of the night."
Yeah, but
it's way better when you meet the guy in their night.
Right. Don't you feel like the ones that just kind of do, it's like routine, and they're like, I don't want to fucking work any extra hard to do anything. I'm just going to...
Oh, absolutely.
I'm going to spit out what I normally do, and people are going to laugh at it, and I don't have to put any extra effort, but that's stupid.
Yeah, why haven't I been just given a development deal yet?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah, and there's always the one story of the semi-famous comedian who they knew and blah, 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 and
right.
They were supposed to have this opportunity. It's always that, and I'm just like, man, if you took the show, you're there for a reason. So just be appreciative that somebody, was willing to give you money to do comedy.
Yeah. I do think you should look into the smart cart situation. You can see it on Shark Tank. But this guy developed this cart where you can basically carry all of these things in like basically you can make it a cooler, you can make it a shower if you need to. You can make it a...
Why are you promoting Shark Tank right now?
I don't know, because I watched Shark Tank last night.
Where's this coming from?
Because he was talking about his merchandise.
Oh, yeah.
Your merchandise situation where you have to bring your merchandise. I was saying you should look into the smart cart. Because it's like a luggage kind of bag, but you can also, if you need to take a shower, you can. I don't know.
Did they say how expensive though? They might be expensive as shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it's a portable shower, yeah, I'm guessing.
Oh, totally, it's a portable shower.
No, not
how
the
do you get the water?
The smart cart isn't a portable shower.
No, those are two different ones.
Frenzy's
dead, right?
It was the same episode.
Frenzy's floating right now.
It was a smart cart plus. So what was the shower one called?
It was called Rinse Kit.
Rinse Kit.
Yeah.
But you have to have access to water.
So the smart cart, the item you're trying to sell me is not the one that turns into a shower.
Yeah, what the fuck? Do you work for these companies?
I'm not trying to sell shit to anybody. No, okay, so the smart cart is basically like a weird cart, like you're maybe homeless or whatever.
For sponsors
and
now.
You can put your groceries on it. You can also pack a bag for the weekend to go to like Catalina, whatever. No, it holds 100. It holds 150 pounds.
110.
50.
All right.
Okay,
Google
look it up online.
No, you look it up.
You do it.
You're
I already do enough research every day. No,
our
you do
investigators.
it.
I'm producing the show.
Oh, okay, good for you.
Hey, Brad. So if you were to... Frenzy, we're about to go to the blows. Brad. So what would you say, do you have, if I were to say, like, give me your best, your tightest material, most tightest on-point material, do you think you give me, like, a strong 30 minutes or 20 minutes? What do you think?
45.
45, you have just straight up your strongest material, 45 minutes. That's pretty badass.
Okay, it gives me, I have more than that, but that gives me the buffer that if something doesn't work as well as it should have, or, I don't get the longer response, I got stuff to work in there. So 45 is what I feel comfortable telling people.
That's good.
But it's taken
That's a lot
long
more than
time to
people.
get to that point.
Yeah, true. But you work hard at it to get to that point, right?
No, absolutely. Well, I mean,
He's like, no, not at all.
It's like, I just woke
I
up
usually
today.
just sit on the couch and smoke pot and eat Cheetos.
Yeah,
He's
duh.
savant.
Do you
And
so
wonder when it's getting in development too.
I need to ask you about your frozen pizza situation in Indianapolis. Do you have lots of matzah? Or what's your hometown frozen pizza situation besides like Tombstone or fucking all the gross
Well, I mean, we have
ones?
like a place called Papa Murphy's where
we have that shit
it's
too.
like
come on.
You go to a
yeah.
gas station.
Everyone has Papa Murphy's.
You want to buy an energy drink or a pack of smokes or Hershey bars with almonds. I don't know, whatever you want to buy.
A big old
but
rock of crack.
Yeah, some crack, whatever. But you go to the frozen section of your favorite gas station, whether it's, I don't know what they are out there, but whatever. You go and you buy a pizza. You're not going to buy a Papa Murphy's because that's a franchise. You have to go to an actual Papa
frozen
Murphy's.
pizza. They deliver.
They're take and bake.
They don't. No, not Papa Murphy's.
Yeah, Papa Murphy's is take and bake.
Oh, I'm thinking Papa John's.
Yeah, no, they're different. Okay, so anyways, what is your go-to frozen pizza sitch?
Me personally, DiGiorno.
Oh, it's not delivery?
Ba-dum-bum. I wish I had some of Corey's little fucking sound effects right now.
Oh yeah.
the one of the little wah wah wah. Francie's like the Brian Redband of the show. I love how when she comes up with random topics, like
You would not have remembered that DiGiorno's logo was "It's not delivery." Thank you very much.
that's their whole thing. That's not their.
You would have not remembered. You would have not remembered that. You'd have been like, "I can bring it to your house in 10 minutes." That's their logo. You would have not remembered that.
It's not delivery. It's DiGiorno. That's
Yeah,
their whole
you
thing.
would have not. No, I didn't say it's. I just said it's not delivery. I love how you think that you remember everything and you don't.
What's going on? Okay, Brad Scott. Fucking DiGiorno and shit right now because she's getting mind fucked her.
That's why I was always I was
Frenzy,
also talking about
tonight.
sex and weird balls and cunts and shit.
She is the wild card of this podcast. She just brings up random topics. We'll be like, so tell us about how your mom died. And she'll be like, I love Cheetos! Have you had the new Cheetos? They got ranch Cheetos now. You gotta try that shit.
I will, I know.
That's a good idea. They should make ranch Cheetos.
They make jalapeno Cheetos.
No, they need ranch ones.
I don't think that would be good.
This is
cheesy ranch ones, maybe.
Brad, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I apologize for this entire episode.
We played ping pong earlier, and we both sucked, and we're normally really good at it.
Yeah, it went horrible.
It was horrible.
We're big ping. We bought a ping pong table for the studio. If that gives you any insight to how things go around here at the bunker studios, we're like, you know what we need here before we do a podcast.
Oh yeah, because we have lots of times to
before we show up for our podcast, we need to play some fucking ping pong. Yeah,
That's a business expense.
Yeah, write it off.
Yeah.
Fucking shut up, Frenzy. Okay, Brad Scott, where can we find you online? Brad, you have a website, right?
Yes, BradScottComedy.com.
Frenzy, where's our website?
It is www.sargeapproved.com.
Brad, where can we find you on Facebook? Our Facebook is Sarge Approved. Go to Sarge Approved and like it. Brad, where can we find you on Twitter?
At Brad Scott.
Our Twitter is at Sarge Approved. We just got to give you a little payback. That's for Corey, dude. That's for Corey.
Hey, Corey.
That is the common theme of the Showdown podcast. Every time they do their thing where they all say where you can find them online,
do that.
They just punch Corey in the dick every time he tries to say where you can find him online. Brad does it every time he cuts him off. So I had to give Corey a little shout out there and give you a little.
I should have known the coward couldn't fight his own battle.
Oh shit!
That's our dude, man. He's been on the show. He's officially a BFF. He is Sarge approved, and so we had to have his back there. We had to give you a little bit of your own medicine, my friend.
But now you're going to be our dude after this, so we'll have your back.
So now when we have Vic on, we'll cut him off.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be such dicks to Vic. He might not want to come on the show, but he will because it'll be fun.
But seriously, you have your website, bradscottcomedy.com.
Yep. Facebook.
Twitter. Facebook is Brad Lee Scott.
Yep.
Right.
Well, that's the personal one. Comedian Brad Scott.
Do you have a page though?
Yeah.
On Facebook. Okay, awesome. And Twitter and Instagram?
At Brad Scott Comedy.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Wrastlemania.
So your Showdown podcast, you can find the Showdown podcast on Spreaker. That's where I listen to it. You can find it it's on Google Play Music. As well. Where else do you have it? iTunes?
Podomatic, and Stitcher.
Okay. And then is it the same for Wrastlemania? Can you find it on all
For
those?
the most part, yeah.
I don't think it's on Spreaker.
No, it may not be on Spreaker, but it's if you go to WrastlemaniaPod.com, even if you don't have a podcast, app or anything, it'll play through that as well through the Podomatic stream.
Beautiful.
Wait,
does the Showdown have a website?
No.
What
the F? Okay.
We've got an Instagram account and a Twitter and a Facebook.
Shit. Tell Corey that is not Sarge approved. You need to get a fucking website for the Showdown.
Wait, him and Vic are both supposed to be the big tech guys, and every time we do a convention or something, we have all these technical issues, and I'm like, I've got the shittiest Big Bang Theory ever.
Well, I made the Sarge approved website, so if I can do it, those two together should be able to do it.
Frenzy's the only reason that this show is popular as it is and has the structure that it is. I produce the thing and I do the audio and all that, but she really is the one that brings the structure to this show.
She's the Vic of the show.
Yeah, she's the one that gets all the guests. I just kind of ramble and pretend like I'm not as dumb as I actually am. And she talks about ranch Cheetos and whatever else comes to her mind. But yeah. And I guarantee if you asked Frenzy to be a guest on one of your podcasts, that she would be all game. And it would add a little flavor to the show.
Oh, I would totally be.
Absolutely, we need to have you both on it. As a matter of fact,
yeah.
Like I said, we're going to do the crossover episode. But to Corey's defense, with the whole website thing, you got to take it easy on him because he's kind of old, so he doesn't probably have enough hours left on his AOL disk to get the website done. He's waiting to get another one in the mail.
He's using a floppy disk.
Is Corey that old? How old is he? Is he like 60?
No, I think he's actually just a few years older than me. But no, he's decently older than me. But that's the running gag. Vic's the black guy, Corey's the old guy. And also, like we say, Corey's a racist. He's not really a racist, but it's just fun to pretend that he is.
Oh, totally.
But you guys got a good show over there. I really enjoyed that Showdown podcast.
I do too.
Thank you so much.
You guys got a really good give and take. You can tell you guys are, from the beginning, obviously, I'm sure you were a little bit different compared to how you are now with your, the confidence, just being around those guys and being able to speak your mind and have a nice flow to all your episodes. But you guys really have a good give and take, and you can tell that that you guys flow well together. So it's cool. I enjoy listening to you guys' shows, and they're funny. You're a funny dude, and especially when you and Vic get into shit.
I think all three of you are funny in your own way. I like it. It's a good dynamic.
We need to get Corey to speak up a little more, though.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I've been on him about it the last few episodes. I keep telling him because I think that's why he likes doing these episodes, because he gets to disappear. He doesn't have to. The battle, he has to put himself out there for 15 minutes, but now he could just chip in every now and then because he wants to avoid that loser game show sound.
Yeah, it's hard. But I also feel like in a group of three, it's hard to get your voice out there, and it's kind of this always evolving kind of. You don't want to interrupt the other host and the other guests.
Oh no, Brad has no problem cutting Corey off.
No, that's what I'm saying. Whatsoever. I'm talking about Corey.
He loves that shit.
No, I know. I'm talking about Corey.
I'm trying to make him a man.
Trying to toughen that dude up. Well, Brad, thank you for being with us.
Thanks, B-Rad.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
B-Rad. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. We had a good time, and I know we got off on a few random tangents and rants.
Mostly my fault. I apologize.
Frenzy, every once in a while, Frenzy gets into a frenzy.
That's what happens. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not going to. I guess I just apologize for it, but I really don't want to.
Don't apologize. Fuck them. Don't apologize to anybody.
It's just me being me.
If anybody asks you to apologize, tell them, fuck
you.
you. I don't apologize. I'm Frenzy.
You be you, Frenzy, and if people don't like it, they're cunts.
Exactly.
They're small-dicked cunts.
They're small-dicked, moist cunts.
For somebody who hates the word moist, you say moist more than anybody I know.
It's just been today because I had to wish Todd Montezee, by the way.
Todd Montezee.
Shout out. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Todd.
I posted on his Facebook today a picture of Bill Murray saying, "Happy birthday, gorgeous. I hope your birthday cake is moist." I mean, like, why wouldn't you send that to somebody? Like, that's the best meme ever. And I hate the word moist, but I did it because I thought it was funny.
All right, let's wrap this shit up, and we'll chat a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Brad, thank you for being with us. You gave us all your info where people can find you. Make sure you guys go to Showdown Podcast, Wrastlemania Podcast, and check out
BradScottComedy.com.
Yeah, his comedy. That's the main thing. Follow that.
Check out
comedy.
B-Rad.
He is actually a really funny dude.
Super fucking funny.
Yeah.
Actually.
You are Sarge approved. It's official.
Hell yes. In spite of how I've been on this podcast, I am funny. But you guys are great. You made me interesting. You made Corey Miller interesting. This is a great podcast. Thank you so much for having me.
We love it. We had a good time, my friend. Boom. Okay. That was comedian Brad Scott. That was an interesting one, huh?
Yeah.
We got off onto a few different tangents.
Like 42 different tangents.
It tends to happen, though. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, check out Brad and his comedy and his two badass podcasts. I know I listen to at least one of them, The Showdown.
Mm-hmm. Wrastlemania, and then also BradScottComedy.com.
Mm-hmm. And check out our Facebook page, our Twitter page, and our website. What's our website, Frenzy?
www.sargeapproved.com.
Yes, like it, love it, subscribe to it, give it a big old hug, do all the things.
Listen to more of it.
Mm-hmm. You can find our episodes on our website and on iTunes, Spreaker. You can go on Twitter and find them, and on Facebook too. YouTube. Go and like and follow and subscribe, do all that shit.
All the things.
While you're at it, mosey on over to National Survival Center and get yourself some badass gear.
Or go to survivedon'tsuffer.com.
Yeah.
Either way, don't suffer.
Don't
survive.
Do it. Survive. If you want to get some badass gear, it's free shipping. It's all hand tested. It's all name brand stuff. The same stuff you're going to find in the big box stores, except it's going to be way cheaper. So go check them out. NationalSurvivorCenter.com. That's our motto. Survive, don't suffer. All right. Okay, we're going to play this episode out with a song by Godman Who called Slight Butterflies. Later, fuckers.
In October, disciple. First two names ripped straight out the Bible. Move of the seasons, annually my county is blessed with God's bounty. Choose your grade, pure settle runny. Ain't about the money, support the local. My focal point is knock the bad juju out of joint. Seams, brittle beams, all the rage, busting at the seams. Swings and roundabouts, got your number, big shout outs. Roller coaster rides, he slips and slides. Weekend highs and crashing lows. Head spinning rhymes and body blows. Can't get on it, ill rhyme flows. How he does it no one knows. More fuel for the fire as it grows. Big up Act 1 and my man life shows.
Inevitably, if nothing happens, we shall either have to, I don't know, we may have to move into smaller premises, you know.
Back again, spitting saliva all over the track again. Froth and batter, mess with your grey matter. Hot, like a grow room with too much humidity. More dumber than sense and sensibility, but still have the ability. Fuck credibility, toot me own horn. Scare the fuck out you like children of the corn. I was born to make you happy. Yeah, I was once tacky, wacky like Britney. Uppers and downers like Bobby and Whitney. But you have to move on, pull your finger out your arse, get your groove on. But I'm not preaching, still learning and occasionally leeching. But it's all peachy, I back my brothers up whenever they need me. But I'll never be greedy, only break bread when they offer to feed me.
I had slight butterflies as I walked up, but I just went to see what it was these people really were getting at. I thought, one could talk to them as perfectly ordinary people. And somehow feels that because they're demonstrating, they're a group apart somehow in a sort of modern ghastly phenomenon.